We all took U.S. history in school, right? If you were halfway paying attention, you probably learned things like Christopher Columbus discovered North America, or the first Thanksgiving was a peaceful meal between Pilgrims and the Native Americans. Or what about Paul Revere's famous ride when he was warning that the British were coming? Or my personal favorite, how the Declaration of Independence was signed July 4th of 1776. If these staples in United States history are now found to be false, fabricated, and exaggerated, then what implications can we draw about Black history in this country? More specifically, how does this education experience, or miseducation, affect melanated millennials in our community as a whole?
Yeah. Melanin.
Oh no, backward.
The coalition of color, my brother, rock your crown. I'm here to show you the power inside the color brown. Now's the time to open up your mind to what they tried to hide from the real royalty. Open up your chakra from your brain to your feet. And
Hello, and welcome to the Coalition of Color. So most of us matriculated through grade school, many of us through college, and some of us through graduate school and continuing education courses. We think it's safe to say that all of us have taken a U.S. history class or two while being educated through our school system. If one thing is clear today, as it pertains to the education system, it is that it was not meant to develop the Black community in this country. We have been studying Carter G. Woodson's book, The Miseducation of the Negro, and comparing it to the education system of today.
All right, welcome back, Kings and Queens. We're here with the Hall Franklin family, and they've agreed to discuss the education system in America with us today. Do you think U.S. history as taught in school is accurate? Do you think that it's correct, it's true?
No.
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 No. No.
I'd have to say no, mainly because I feel like they leave out a lot of stuff. They leave out a lot. They try to pinpoint on certain moments in history, but they don't cover the whole thing.
They leave out so much, and it's like, what's the one, the Black Wall Street? That's the one thing.
Tulsa, Oklahoma?
Yeah, that's the one thing that I always think back to, and I'm like, why wasn't I taught this? I learned that from social media.
No.
Yes, I just feel like it's accurate what they teach us, but they don't give us all the information.
No.
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 Who were you taught discovered America? Give me a name.
I was taught Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, Christopher Columbus.
Columbus. Columbus.
Christopher Columbus, that's who I was taught.
Yeah, which we know is not true.
While diving into this crazy enlightening book, we noticed that Carter G. Woodson's goals align with the goals of the Coalition of Color. That is, to educate us on who we were before slavery in America, to showcase that our talents have been suppressed, forgotten, and or exploited through the system that is slavery. Highlight how many of the same mental warfare tactics are still being used on us in today's systems, and most importantly, to develop and unite the Black community in the United States.
And what grade did you begin to learn about slavery in America?
It had to be middle school, right? I'd say 5th grade.
I would say 1st grade because 1st grade I went to a private school.
Maybe in middle school, maybe 5th grade.
For me it was 5th grade.
I would say like 6th or 7th grade.
So I thought it was crazy that as watching the interviews with you guys, so many people had different answers for when they learned about slavery and when they learned about, things that were key to our history. And it made me think, is there no standard curriculum? I don't believe there is for America. I actually did a minimal amount of research on it really quickly, but it doesn't appear to be a standard for what we are taught in history. So it gets you to thinking, if I'm in Texas, am I learning something different than if I live in California or Oregon? There's no standard across the board, and it comes up with these inadequacies or differences in learning and knowledge bases.
A very overlooked form of systematic oppression in our country is the education system. Most of us, we spend the majority of our formal education years in grade school. That's kindergarten through 12th. While in those grades, consider the mental conditioning that takes place so covertly that often it's undetected by our community for years after graduating high school. Some of us even pass without ever knowing that our minds never escaped slavery.
Is it better for our community to produce entrepreneurs or employees? Which ones do you think?
Entrepreneurs, of course.
Entrepreneurs, yes.
A little bit. Yeah, of course.
A little bit of both? Everybody's saying a bit of both, but does anybody believe we should have more employees or more entrepreneurs?
More
More entrepreneurs?
Entrepreneurs.
We are taught to admire Hebrew, Greek, and Latin philosophers, artists, and leaders, but can you remember being taught about Africans of the light? In fact, we're taught nothing about African history other than what's tied to the European exploration of it.
Let's be clear. In no way is the Coalition of Color saying that we don't support education. To the contrary, we support obtaining and acquiring all the knowledge you possibly can. This playlist, however, is designed to really take a look at how the education system plays a role in the continuing systematic oppression of our people. Our goal is to motivate you to really pay attention to the information being disseminated to you, but most importantly, to encourage you to seek knowledge from credible sources outside of the traditional educational system.
Do you think the education system as it is produces more entrepreneurs or more employees?
Employees, of course. Yeah.
I guess employees.
Employees.
Yeah, sadly employees.
The education system has been designed to handicap our mentality by perpetuating the idea that we are an inferior race. It refuses to give the majority of Africans and Black Americans their roses. During slavery, America banned the education of slaves. Our native African languages, cultures, traditions, religion, and history were stripped from us. Once we were able to attend schools, our educational curriculum was written and, for the most part, is also taught by those who belong to the group who oppress us.
If you could choose your profession based on your passion, what hourly amount would you charge?
$750 an hour because I don't play.
I don't want to be greedy, so I'll just be modest and say 4,000.
Like 5,000.
5,000?
I would say at least like 100 or so. Not to undermine, but like keep it reasonable. 300. $14.
I would do $16 an hour.
$16 an hour?
15.
15. 16. 18. 18.
I'm gonna bite the bullet. I'm gonna say about 18, 19.
$3.50.
What? $15 an hour?
You charge 15?
Yeah.
I think like more than 15.
No, I'm talking 350.
Oh, I know what you're saying. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I thought it was interesting that I feel like we've been conditioned to be employees in America and that people didn't know what their value was when asked about how much they would charge for an hour out of their life doing their passion. I thought it was dope that Darian quoted $4,000 and his daughter said $5,000. I think Showtime was up there near like $1,000. But seriously, I think that has been something that's been conditioned into us not to know that we're worth a lot more than $18, $15 an hour.
Their idea on educating us is not to attempt to inform us or restore what was taken. It is not to edify our culture or honor our ancestors. This system of education focuses on minimizing, mischaracterizing, and in some instances, blatantly ignoring the atrocities they inflicted upon us. And we are left to manage the consequences. By highlighting certain Black achievements and denying others, the education system subtly conditions those who matriculate through it to aspire to be like them and not find freedom by loving who we are. This results in our gifts and talents being overshadowed and downplayed, all while constantly being reminded how different from them we are. This is how some of us get tricked into thinking products, services, ideas, etc. in other communities are better quality than the ones in ours.
Do you think a formal U.S. education helps the advancement of Black people in this country?
No.
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 No. No. No.
No. No.
It was designed to help people, but I don't think no.
No.
Yes.
The way it is, I'd say no.
Like I said earlier, they definitely leave out certain moments in our history that just you're messing up the timeline of everything, and you only speak about certain things. You're forgetting about a lot more that we end up learning ourselves.
So I only have that 1 month out of the year to educate my students, and sometimes that's the only time when things are available. So
Other than well-known activists like Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and Rosa Parks, can you name somebody who fought for Black people in this country?
I want to say Medgar Evers.
Medgar Evers, okay, that's a good one.
I would say Harriet Tubman. But
I got it on the list. You got to pick somebody else.
I don't really know anybody else.
Okay. What about you, sweetheart?
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King's on the list. You got to pick somebody else.
Katherine Johnson.
Katherine Johnson.
There you go, baby.
All right, good. Okay.
I'm John Lewis.
What's the problem right there?
Well, you said one earlier, W.E.B. Du Bois.
Booker T. Washington.
Booker T. Washington as well.
Didn't know.
No.
You didn't mention John Lewis though, right? I was right there when I filmed the hearse turning the corner. So if they use that picture for history, I would be the guy who took that picture.
I don't think I can, honestly. And I would say that's a fault on my end as well as the education system as well, because as we're getting more introduced to activism now, you know, it's your job to educate yourself and go deeper in that. So that's definitely a fault on my end.
Let me ask you a question. Right now, in your home, shout out a name of an African American that has helped the growth of Black people in America. Can you do it? Honestly, I could not. Guys, like, this was a struggle for me. I'm not judging anybody that couldn't name a person. And everybody that named John Lewis, I'm not counting you, okay? And you know why, right? But this is an issue, I feel like. I feel like this is really huge for us, and this is something that we should change within our community. We can't count on the white school systems to teach us about our Black people. We need to do our research and pass on the information. Each one, teach one.
How does it make you feel to know that the education system has omitted so much of Black history, both good and bad?
I mean, I feel like they could teach us more because I feel like most of the time when they teach us, it seems to make us seem like the bad person.
Okay.
So I'd say they could teach us more about like the activists and people that have helped our country instead of the people that have helped ruin our country.
Oh, that makes me upset because I want to learn more about like Black people and how they were successful and spread the Black Lives Matter love around. I like to learn about that kind of stuff. I think it's fun to learn about it, and then in school we don't really learn about it, so like what are we really learning?
Like you feel a little, not even a little, you feel betrayed.
This continued way of teaching results in a serious lack of true Black thinkers and philosophers today. The system is not designed to teach us to think. It's designed to condition us to be employed by them. This further causes a divide in our community because while many Black people have found success by way of the traditional education system, many of us have not. The two groups find it hard to agree on matters that would advance our community due to our conflicting perspectives.
Like my ancestors were brought here against their will, and you force us to live and work in certain conditions, and then it's like we don't get no reparations for nothing. It's like, come on.
It is very heart-wrenching.
Right.
We are parents of 5 children.
Right.
This is our youngest. And my parents taught me what the educational system didn't.
Definitely like overlooked.
We live in Massachusetts, and my oldest daughter, she doesn't really know anything about Black history. If she knows something, it's because I'm teaching her about, you know, the four little girls that were trapped in the church and were burned to death, or Emmett Till, who was dragged to death, sodomized, and then his mom had an open casket funeral to let everybody see what they did to her son. And the fact that you don't even know who these individuals' name is kind of puzzling for me.
Imagine if, for the same 13 years that you were in grade school, you were taught that ancient Africans were more than just sufficiently educated. Our people knew enough science to make poison weapons. We painted works of art that rivaled the likes of Picasso, and we were able to extract precious metals from the earth. Instead, our capabilities and our contributions are either ignored or belittled.
It's definitely a shame. It's definitely a shame seeing how they pick and choose which events to talk about in the school systems. And it's like, you can't, make inferences, or you can't summarize history. Like, if you're going to tell a part of it, you got to tell the whole thing.
I was going to say, I just feel like if when we're learning about slavery in school, like, I would prefer like a Black person to kind of teach us more about it.
It makes me feel mad because I want to learn about more people, because in school they don't really teach us about more people. They only teach us about like the basic stuff.
Sad because they really don't teach us nothing.
I took a Black history class last semester, and I think I've learned more than I've ever learned about our people.
Consider the fact that Africans were the first to domesticate animals, develop trial by jury, and produce string instruments. We even discovered iron. They often depict our ancestors as uncivilized and in need of structure, but they can only say that because we are not taught that they built powerful kingdoms and empires such as the Songhai.
I don't feel any kind of way about it. It's like I'm used to it. I'm numb to it, and I'm definitely not bitter. I don't feel like it's holding me back from achieving anything that I want to right now. When you're born like in impoverished, like I was, you're born in like poorer conditions, your self-worth is automatically, you're feeling like a little bit less than. And that, I think that's been the issue with the black community. Why, you know, when you feel less than, then you want to dress a certain way. You'll take certain risks.
In the famous words of one of our fellow YouTubers, Fenarios,
Wow, that's crazy.
it really does change your posture to know that you come from a great people. Archaeologists have proved that Africans were the first to occupy the lands. Why is it then that so little is attributed to their successes? Black people in America are the truest definition of all this nation claims to stand for, and yet we're consistently overlooked, marginalized, and minimalized. We built this country with our hands, we fought the fights that make America live up to its founding documents, and we carry the essence of democracy in our spirit. We encourage you to seek out the knowledge and education that can advance and unite our people, but never forget that American history is Black history.
They don't tell you that an African king was the wealthiest man the world has known to date. His riches make Jeff Bezos' $60 billion look like a rainy day stash. Go check out our video, episode 101, where we tell you all about Mansa Musa. Well, wait, don't go right now. Definitely finish this video first, and we'll link it on the screen at the end.
Okay, last question. What can the education system do to help the advancement of our people in the country moving forward? Do we have any ideas?
Educate us.
Educate us?
I feel like if I was more educated about my ancestors and the people, then I feel like I would be more inspired to do certain things. Because they had things that they couldn't do, but they were able to still do it after all the hate and after all the stuff that they've been through.
No, I don't know. I feel like I kind of feel like the information is out there. You know?
I feel like you shouldn't really have to look for it. It should be something that's just given to you.
And like you shouldn't have to depend on anybody to bring it to you. Like, and I guess a lot of kids don't have parents that are gonna, or any kind of mentor or anybody to lead them that way.
For starters, you can incorporate more of the history into the curriculum. Put in like good role models and teachers rather than like, not just somebody looking for a job. Exactly. Yeah.
Get more Black teachers in the classrooms. Get more of them in the classrooms, the younger ones. We need kids to see people that look like them in front of the classrooms, teaching them.
I want them to teach us more because I like Katherine Johnson. I wanna skip grades so I can be like a lot of smart.
You are awesome. And for our viewers who might not know, can you tell us briefly who Katherine Johnson is?
She was in high school very, very early, and she's a very famous mathematician.
Awesome. I was 32 years old before I found that out.
Well, guys, we are super excited to continue research on this topic. At the very least, we hope it connects the dots that the Coalition of Color has been laying out. You are not inferior. We as a people, both African and Black American, have contributed so much to this planet and this country. Black people have been geniuses, billionaires, military leaders, politicians, and even rulers as kings and queens. And even more recently, President of the United States, Barack Obama. Okay? So we are sincere when we call you kings and queens, and even more genuine when we say rock your crown. So let's educate ourselves and each other so that we may advance and develop our people.
Leave a comment in the section below. Share with us an alternative fact you learned in school. As always, we appreciate your continued support. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Click the notification bell in the corner so you can get alerted when we drop new content. Next week, we will begin covering the presidential election and developments with that. We all have to do our part. Pay attention and vote, guys. Till then, we love you, wear your mask, and rock your crown.
You to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose? and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to?
Hello, and welcome to the...
One more time. Yeah, I did not realize that's...
Okay, welcome back, Coalition of Color. We're here with Masamba.
Manasseh.
Manasseh.
Did it right in
Yes,
front of my
I
face.
saw it.
Again.
But at least
And
you
I
got
just
it.
killed
You
it.
got I want to say it.
You do? Alright. So I'll say scenarios, and then
Then you say it.
we'll all
What?
say
Okay.
it. Oh, yeah. You can do that.
Okay, it don't matter. I'm definitely going to say it.
Like a 2-on-2 rap battle. I'll just go alley-oop you then. Knowledge and education that can advance and unite our community.
But never forget that American history is Black history.
Hold on.
Like a rainy day stash. Go check out our video, episode 101, where you...
It really does change your posture when you know that you come from a great people. I'm looking at the mirror. It really does change your posture when you know. Like,
Please, I was going to say, please. Give me a second. Because I be looking at the mirror and I'm like, God, I hope this camera don't catch that I'm... All right.
one.
I'm really trying to get it together.
You did, but the way that you did was funny. I'm sorry.
Constantly being reminded from how... this results. I'll do this. This results. Okay.
Black people in America are the truest definition of all that this nation claims.
Say more so, absolutely not. As you know, we only get 1 month out of the year to be able to educate these. All right, one more time for me, and then I got this thing.
He's down here all the time.
It's DC, y'all.
He's down here all the time.
They're having one of those moments again.
Yeah, he's down here all the time. I see him all the time.
For me, I feel like you're kind of born with a disadvantage because this is such a long story, and I gotta get to the Nike store.
Make it quick, wrap it up.
I just feel like you're kind of.
Don't forget to vote, guys. Till then, we love you. I'm doing all of this because
I was like, wait,
I
what?
struggled through it.
I was so lost. Like, wait.
Rock your crowd.